Fat. We're the Phat Peeps.
Hey peeps!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phat Peeps podcast, episode number 33. I am your host, Joey, and I am here with the Phat Peeps. I got
wow.
cameraman John.
Oh, that's me. Hi.
We got Garrick, aka Big Target.
Hola!
And we have PJ, aka Tech 3200.
What's up, guys?
And this is a podcast where we talk about usually video games, but sometimes other tech and media related
Nerd
things.
stuff.
Basically, whatever we're into, anything that pops up that somebody wants to talk about, we talk about it. And we
I
hope
got
that you
something that
guys
popped
enjoy
up.
listening to us talk about it. What are you saying over there?
Don't worry about it.
Interrupting me while I'm introing the podcast?
I was making a sex joke, okay, Joey? I was being immature for the sake of it.
Okay, well, let's
Very
bring it to
mature,
the front.
mister.
Let's tell the whole class, PJ.
Yeah, tell the whole class.
I got something that popped up, and then I
Hi.
used my waistband.
That's a good, yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
work.
Good technique.
Alright.
Hey,
No,
works.
the
Good
jamming it
technique.
in the desk works better.
What?
What? Are you talking
Wait.
about experience?
What?
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean by jamming it in
What
the
does he mean?
desk?
You
I think-
lightly tap it into the desk to assert your dominance, Joey.
He's talking
What?
about scissors, Joey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
it's scissors. Got it.
Yeah.
Big
It
paper
fell out of my
slicer?
backpack, and then it popped up on the floor, and I was just like, oh, I probably should put that away.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Anyhow,
All right.
continue.
Since we're all on the same page now,
Yes.
Yeah,
We can
I'm
go
glad
ahead
we
and
could
move
understand that.
we got some fun things to talk about this week, such
Uh-huh.
as Microsoft spending billions of dollars
Holy
Oh,
cow.
and
so many
Tesla coming out with a cheap new car.
Oh, so much.
Allegedly.
But before we do that, we always like to do a intro question, icebreaker question. And today's icebreaker question is, and this one was brought to us by Garrick. He's kind of
Okay.
proposing
Hello.
a philosophical question, the
very
way
deep.
his opinion is on this particular topic. But it is pancakes, crepes, and waffles are all the same. How do you guys feel about that? Do you agree?
Oh, great
Also,
question, Joey.
favorite one
Wasn't a
of the
question.
three.
That wasn't a question.
Wait,
I mean,
just
it
how
was
do you
it
feel
was
about
spun
this?
The
into
question
a
is,
question.
are they the same?
Okay, are they the same?
Are
Yeah,
they not
okay.
the same?
Yeah, that's the question.
Okay.
Okay.
The initial statement. I'm
Yeah.
gonna emphasize
Yeah.
statement was not a
But
question.
Joey, that was a great question.
Yes,
go on.
Joey's was a question. Yours was not.
Yeah, but
So Garrick, you feel that these three food items are the same food item?
allegedly,
Interesting.
but I feel like the reason why I say this is you have the ability to plop any one of these on a plate and then put the same toppings on each one, and they'll still taste just as good.
I would not
Maybe
put
you might
maple
need-
syrup on a crepe.
Yeah,
not?
see, that's the thing is I think you're kind of I'm kind of there to agree with you with pancakes and waffles, even though there is a difference in
There
like
is difference,
density
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sugar
But-
content.
Crepes typically are
light and airy
like
and they need
filled
jelly.
with something.
Not even
Yeah.
filled, but topped with something. Sometimes they're just light, airy.
Yeah, it depends.
But
When I think of them like filled. I think of them you
But-
like top them and then you roll them.
Yeah.
if you layer a bunch of crepes up there, the texture is getting close to something along the lines of a pancake.
The
or a
closest thing
waffle.
that I could put
Depends.
on a crepe that's syrupy would be honey. I would not
But,
put straight syrup
so
because that would be a
imagine-
sin.
Have you guys eaten pancakes and or waffles without syrup and just fruit and something
Yeah.
else that's
I
great?
have.
I usually do that.
That's where I'm coming from. I think
Okay.
there's
So
a
barring
nice line-
syrup.
Boring syrup.
Yeah, I
No,
mean if you're
barring.
uncomfortable,
Oh, barring syrup. Okay.
yeah, if you're on or a syrup bar, ooh, that would be good.
If it's homemade
you're-
syrup that's not overly sweetened and with saccharin, then I can maybe get on the same page as you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah. So, Joey, what's your opinion? Have you answered the question?
I feel like these are different, but like subtly different, right? In the sense of like mainly that like they're prepared differently. I'm gonna have to get up and let my dog in a second, but they're prepared differently. I think even on the level of like pancakes and waffles, there's like a difference. There's like a density difference to them.
Yeah, usually I
And
believe waffles you use more oil and sugar, as in pancakes you don't usually put sugar in the batter, if I remember correctly. So there is like a big
I
difference.
think you. No, you don't
Uh,
actually. That's true.
hmm?
You
And
don't.
then also pancakes is also like a bunch of different types of pancakes that also create different fluffiness and textures. So
Right.
it's like you can have like a buttermilk pancake, which is more fluffy because of the reaction that happens.
I mean, you
and then you
can with
have-
waffles too, because there's regular waffles and there's Belgian
Yeah,
waffles.
Yeah.
And it's
Um,
but the waffle is dependent on the machine that you're using more so than the
Yeah,
batter that
Because
you
you
make.
can, I think you can put pancake batter in a waffle, and it'll be very crispy and waffle-like.
Right.
Um, but
Can
crepes,
you do
yeah,
the same with crepe batter?
no, I don't think you
No,
can.
it would
It's-
just
crepe is
burn.
too runny.
Yeah.
Um,
Or it
and
would
even,
cook
even,
instantly.
Yeah, and I think crepes use more egg. I don't. I have to like look up recipes, but from
We
memory,
should
I
test
think
this out sometime.
crepes use more eggs than either both pancake and waffle batter. I'm just talking about my butt right now, but
Okay. I see.
also,
think
am I
that's-
wrong in that I feel like a crepe is more likely to be to have like savory food items on it or in it?
It's possible.
Like
I
I
mean-
feel like a crepe's
oh,
more
well,
likely to have
actually-
like
It's possible with-
sausage or like cheese potentially.
No, I feel
Technically,
like breakfast
it's
stuff
possible
goes-
with all three.
Right.
yeah.
But like
it's
people
been
don't
done-
do that with pancakes and waffles. Like nobody is like
It's rare.
having their pancakes and waffles with like a disc of sausage and bacon on top and like
top.
yeah.
Oh, on top of it,
Yeah.
probably
I-
not.
I-
But good.
Well, yeah, aren't there crepes that are made like breakfast crepes that are made with like egg and sausage and stuff inside of
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
but I've
like, you
seen
don't really
pancake
do that with
sandwiches.
pancakes
I've
and
seen
waffles.
waffles sandwiches, chicken and
think-
waffles. I mean,
Waffles are typically made sweetened,
right.
and pancakes you usually have the syrup on top to add sweetness, and then crepes is whatever you kind of. I mean, all of it you can put whatever on top to make it savory sweet. But for my favorite pancake, it's not the the OG kind of Western style pancake. I love myself scallion pancakes or green onion pancakes,
Oh,
and that's savory.
Interesting.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like an Asian dish, Chinese
Yeah.
dish.
So, in the regard of all of them being on the same level, let's say, like, not including your example, John, where it's a savory pancake or potato pancakes, like, we're talking about, like, cake and batter pancakes. Same thing with waffles and the crepe, same thing. I agree they are the same in regard to they give the same sensation and satisfaction. I disagree in the regard that they're the same in like what they pair with necessarily, and that they're the exact same. Like, I have cravings for waffles over pancakes sometimes, and vice versa. I don't get crepes very often because I don't make them. They're hard to make, or harder to make, and I don't have the materials for it. I'm sure if you have the right
Oh,
stuff,
you
it's
do.
easy.
You do have the material.
Yeah, I mean, we
Let
could
me-
always
let
use
me
the
look
back
up-
of a
let me
frying
look up.
pan like Disneyland does.
Oh,
but
okay. I meant ingredients. I forgot, but yeah, the tools.
You can
yeah,
still
use-
make it in a pan.
Yeah,
you
still-
can.
but
It's just a
it
pain in
does-
the ass. I'm not
it
much
does
of
take
taking
a-
a.
ingredients.
I don't even make
Yeah, it does
pancakes
take a
because
lot
it's too
more
much
finesse.
effort. And I'm
Yeah.
not much of a baker, and I feel like that's more of a baking than a cooking thing. But when it comes to all of them, and because of the fact that I get crepes less, I also like their texture and everything better. Crepes are going to be the ones that I'm always going to go for.
Because it's a treat.
It's a treat,
Right.
but it's also, I don't like the pancakes and waffles as much because they're so thick, and I feel like I eat one and a
With
half.
how many C's?
I agree, they're
And-
heavy.
Yeah, they are, and I eat one and a half, and when
Oh.
you're eating it with a rest of a breakfast, you're like, this
Yeah,
is
when I
way
see
too
people at
much.
IHOP or like Denny's, and they order like the grand
Get
sandwich
second
or whatever
plates.
with the whole
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, the
That's
like 5 stacks of pancakes and like
Oh,
a, you know, egg
that's too much.
breakfast.
You're
I'm like,
done for the
no,
day.
how do you eat? I can only eat one round.
I have to
That's
like
a trucker
not
meal.
One pancake.
eat the night before to have one
Like,
of those.
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
really
Even
early
one
the night
pancake
before.
fills me up.
That
Whereas-
should be a food challenge.
Crepes,
Yeah.
I could probably eat like 3 or 4 of them and eat a like light
Yeah.
breakfast with it and still feel good and okay because the crepes are nice and they're like refreshing. It's a nice like
Yeah.
way to start your palate building up for something savory.
Yeah, I will agree with Garrick that they are the same, but only because they're like kind of your stereotypical dessert breakfast items. That's the only thing that they're really similar. Everything else, like their ingredients are kind of different. The way they're prepped is extremely different. So yeah, it's kind of it's not like a straight up they're the same, but they kind of are.
Yeah, it's the same answer as me basically. Like the 3 of them accomplish the same, like they fill the same spot in
Yeah,
a plate,
that desserty sweet breakfast.
but they're
Yeah.
not the same in the regards that like their prep and what
Uh-huh.
they like what spot they hit is different.
Yeah.
It hits
Uh,
differently.
Exactly. It's all going to be like you have to be waking up in the morning with a sweet tooth for pancakes and
Feeling like P
waffles.
Diddy. Oh,
And even like even when I like at home when someone makes, I don't usually make pancakes, but if someone makes pancakes, I don't put syrup on it because I don't want a big sweet breakfast.
yeah, you feel so bloated
another-
afterwards. So what's
Yeah,
everyone's favorite then? Cuz I went with crepes already.
mhm.
Everyone agree with that?
Can I do savory pancakes?
You can say savory pancakes. That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
I like a green onion pancake because
Okay.
it's a pan. It's cooked in a pan. It's a cake.
Uh-huh.
Maybe,
Made
probably.
up
I
with
want to
onions.
try it. It sounds
Yeah.
good. It's like potato pancakes. It's like the Asian version of potato
Yeah,
pancakes.
essentially, yeah,
So
kind of, yeah.
that sounds bomb.
Someplace we were at in Hawaii, I got chocolate waffles
Uh-huh.
that
that's
had
too much.
freshly cut banana slices on top and strawberry syrup,
Yeah,
and
That's
it was
interesting.
the bomb.
That
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
really good, but it sounds like an overload. Like I'd be
Can I
done
ch-
for half the day.
It was definitely like dessert for breakfast.
no, it's like okay. So if it's for dessert, like I had a nice light meal and I
For
have one for dessert.
Breakfast.
Then oh, is it for breakfast? Is that the question? You didn't say breakfast.
Well,
It's
I
just
mean,
what's
Not
also
necessarily.
the
favorite
whole
one,
point
question
is,
mark.
like as thinking that they're like they feel so how PJ said it fills the same
Yeah.
role.
But I'm just
So
gonna
with
say
that
waffles
in mind,
for dessert.
okay.
You're gonna go with waffles over crepes, my dude.
Oh,
I like
Well-
the crunchy texture and the holes that kind of
And-
fills the fruit in.
and
syrup.
that would be my answer as well because pancakes tend to be hit and miss for me.
You can
Sometimes they
destroy
can
a
end up very
pancake in
spongy
seconds.
and dry.
Yeah.
And I would like it just like I usually like I feel like waffles are easier to not mess up.
Have you ever gone
but-
to a good?
But I do also agree with PJ where crepes are such a rare occasion for me that I wouldn't mind like
Yeah,
if
treat.
I had a menu in front of me and I had the option between waffles or crepes, I would probably try the crepes out because I don't have an opportunity to eat it too often.
Before I pose my other question, let's just say we threw French toast into the mix here because it's essentially
Oh.
that
French
toast
toast
will be-
supersedes all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
over crepes
Yeah.
over
Yeah, 100%.
No, crepes
One
is
French
still over,
toast
but
over crepes.
French toast, if it's an option and it's affordable, if it's $10 for a piece, I'm like, go fuck
where
yourself.
Where you buying your French toast?
Well,
French toast
well,
is the most expensive, even though it's the easiest to
Really?
make.
Well, here's
Yes.
the
Oh, I never
deal.
bought. Yeah, it's easy to make because I've never
know-
bought it outside.
PJ, you know what's a
Restaurant.
one up to French toast?
Huh.
Monte Cristos.
That's a sandwich. Get that
Yeah,
out
that's
of
a
here.
sandwich.
Yes,
Now we're
that's
going
delicious.
out
Get that
there.
out of here.
Sandwich.
Like I can like take the stretch of French toast because it's made once again the same way as the other things. It's just pre-prepared in
sweet-
some ways.
Sweet bready dessert. Or
But-
breakfast item.
I say French
Bready
toast
and eggy.
supersedes all of them
Yes,
except for
yes.
crepes. I think crepes are either on the same level or slightly higher. That's my opinion of it.
Well,
So here's why French toast is gonna beat everything else out for me personally, right?
I'll agree with Joy in advance.
It's late at night, and I'm like, man, I just need something right now. Need some kind of breakfasty thing, right? And I walk out of the kitchen, and it's like, what am I gonna make, right? Am I gonna whip up batter for pancakes and waffles,
Lame.
or am I just gonna dip some pieces of bread and some egg and throw them into a pan and
No, I agree with that.
slaughter them with syrup?
I agree
Oh,
with that 100%. That's fine. I'm just saying if I'm sitting there and I can have an option between crepes and French toast and I don't make them, they're just there, I'm going to choose crepes just because I don't get them as often. And I like having like boysenberry jelly on top of crepes. So good. So have you guys ever been to a restaurant, more than likely an IHOP, but maybe like a little diner somewhere with the pancakes that are so much like a sponge that you just keep pouring syrup and it just disappears constantly. It just goes instantly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's
disgusting.
Right.
But I don't put more
So
on.
disgusting.
I'm like really sweet stuff, so I just put my usual amount, and then if it's
And then
soaks
it's
up,
gone.
soaks up. It's gone. Yeah, I don't care. It's like it's still in there.
But it's not gone. It's
Yeah,
soaked
it's in there. It's soaked
into.
in.
It's like it's like saying
Yeah.
you don't have object permanence. It's like, oh, the syrup's not on top of
Yeah,
the
so it's not there
pancake
anymore, Joey.
It must be gone. I need to put
I
more
don't think
on.
I don't think that's the point. The
That's
point
not
is just
my
like
gripe,
how
yeah.
dry it is.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the point that Pete is trying to get to.
Exactly.
think
Like
that's
that's
fair.
disgusting.
Try water.
Yeah, add water.
Just pour your glass
add
of
the
water
water.
on
Yeah,
top of it as
if
the
you wanna
waitress
make it
walks
moist.
by and give her the eye.
If the syrup's too
Or-
sweet after a while, just add and you just want to moisten it, just add the
Or
water.
My pancake's not
the
moist
chefs
enough.
Or the
Moist.
cooks could make it moister. Like
Have you guys
like
tried
that's
French toast pizza? Pizza?
What?
that sounds good.
Okay, so can we move on? I just want to end the conversation there.
Yeah, just cut us
We-
off.
We'll talk
I'm-
about. I think
I'm-
we've talked about pizzas before, but maybe we'll have a discussion like
We'll
under the
circle back.
pizzas.
Breakfast pizza.
I'm both
French-
Yeah.
offended and intrigued at the same time. But yeah, let's go.
Enthralled
Yes.
by the prospect of what? Did you say French toast pizza?
French
Pizza.
toast pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna let that linger in everybody's
Yes,
minds.
exactly.
as we
Okay.
move on.
So Joey,
one's
you
gonna be able
No,
to
we're
listen
leaving
to
it.
us.
no, we're gonna leave that. I just wanted to say that Joey said one of the words that I feel like could be one of the like we were talking about how moist is one of those offensive like words that bothers people. I think enthralled could be one too because it's very close to engorged. I don't know why. And even engorged, like you only use that for
That's
like
alright.
2 or 3 things, and that I don't know.
Could be
I feel like
one.
those are the bothersome
yeah.
words.
It's weird to say
loins.
that you find something enthralling.
I don't know why I feel like it's just
You need to get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, get your mind out.
no,
and
it's
into
definitely there.
a thesaurus.
No, I know what
Yes.
enthralling means. I'm just saying it's like it's such a weird. I don't know. You don't hear it enough, I guess. And to me, it's like moist isn't bad, but evidently people get offended by that.
Moist is yeah. I mean, I suppose
don't
you're
think
right
it's
because
offense.
it's like the concept of what it like
Moist.
what it brings to people's
Beautiful.
minds when they
Right.
hear it.
Right.
Is that what
But-
is that why people don't like words? It's like what? Because I don't have any
I
really words
guess.
that kind of do that to me. Maybe
I've
that
never got the
one,
moist
like
thing.
thirsted, but
Yeah.
it's just because it's stupid. I just don't. It's not
Yeah,
like I don't.
that's
It feels
stupid.
makes me uncomfortable. It just sounds stupid.
I actively avoid using that word, and I hate myself every time I accidentally use it. But going back to moist, I associate moist to morning dew on a nice.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think of moist cakes.
That's
Cakes.
moist.
Moist
yeah.
Who likes
cakes.
a dry cake?
Cake, I get
That's
that.
true.
For morning dew, I would say moisture.
Yeah, but it's still moist.
It's still moist.
It
Like, you
is,
separate
but when
Or
I
like
when I hear moist,
a
I
moist
don't
cup.
look outside. I wouldn't be like, oh, it's moist outside. I'd be like,
Well,
oh, there's
I
a
mean,
lot of
if you step
moisture
outside-
outside.
Why
Because
not?
you're too lazy to put on shoes.
Because that's
you're gonna be like, oh,
weird.
my feet are moist. You know, I do
Yeah.
that all the time.
No, I would adapt the
Or-
sentence to say there's a lot of moisture outside.
Wait,
Or
when you step
coming
on the
out of the
ground? No,
shower,
no,
I
you're literally
declare that I am
I
moist.
am moist. I'm a moist boy.
No, I think you're
I think
pushing
Doesn't
it.
do anything.
I don't
I think
know
it's
who
the
started talking about
problem.
moist.
I was just saying that offensive words and those like enthralled to me sounded a little like
You're
offensive.
enthralled.
Exactly.
A trigger word for people.
Trigger.
It could be. I'm just saying like it could be. I don't give a shit. Words are words. I don't get offended by like those types of words. They're in the English dictionary. So who cares? But whatever. I'm sorry to anyone
Anyways.
that's offended by moist. Cuz we're going to say it a lot more.
Moist.
Exactly. Go ahead, Joey.
I mean, we're not gonna say it a bunch. We're just gonna
Honestly,
say
yeah.
it when we feel like saying it. If
Oh,
we're-
That's
I
a
didn't-
shout out to
we end
Pinguino,
up
by
talking
the
about it.
way.
I mean, you don't know
He's
if I'm
the-
going to take me just saying moist 100 times and put it throughout the podcast.
just like in the background, like
yeah, just
we'll be
randomly. It's
mid-sentence
brainwashing people.
You'll
and,
never, you'll never know when
quietly
it
in the
pops up.
background.
They'll wake up and then. Okay, go into the gaming stuff. I'm getting too many
Man, I just
ideas and I
can't
might
stop
do
thinking
them.
about things being
Oh, no.
moist.
I mean, I bet this deal that Microsoft did was pretty moist, or got someone moist.
Oh, this deal that Microsoft did was very moist. We're going to talk about
Oh.
Microsoft buying Bethesda and Zenimax for $7.5 billion.
That's some
Holy
moolah right
cow!
Which,
That's
to
a-
put it
that's
in
a
perspective,
billion.
like this is, how much was the Mojang acquisition? Like 3 billion?
there. No, it was less
that
than
right?
that. I feel like it was less than that.
Was it less than that?
It might have been like
Somebody look that up real quick.
2. I'll look.
2.5 billion. with a
I was
B.
about to
Oh,
say
not,
it's lower.
not bad.
But of
Seems
course, like
reasonable.
in that they were only getting Mojang and Minecraft, right? Which, to be fair, is huge.
They made
Huge.
But
bank off that.
it's only one property. Here with the Bethesda acquisition, they're getting Bethesda, not just Bethesda Softworks, right, which people know for Skyrim and the Fallout games and stuff like that, but they're actually getting the entire parent company. So they're
Wow.
getting Arcane, who is responsible for the Dishonored series and the recent Prey reboot, and I believe they're getting id, which made what was the last thing? Well, Doom. So Doom and Doom
and-
Eternal, right? And yeah, like
Rage.
$7 billion, almost $8 billion. That's no small chunk of change.
I mean
Right.
that could pay
Um,
millions of Americans for a week. Just saying. It's quite a bit.
Wow.
Now there's some like weird things here
Just
where there are
glaze
some
over.
games, for instance, I want to say Arcane's Deathloop, which was announced to be I want to say a PS5 exclusive.
Oh.
And the games like that have their PlayStation exclusivity, console exclusivity, will continue to have that exclusivity, it appears. So
Oh,
they're
nice,
still
Microsoft.
like being beholden to those contracts that were worked out before the acquisition happened. But I feel that this has less to do with acquiring studios for exclusive games on the Xbox platform, right? Because that doesn't really seem to be Microsoft's approach anymore. This seems like it's more of a play to get all of the Bethesda properties on Game Pass to help them bolster up the Game Pass library, right? And we talk about the prospect of Microsoft's Game Pass becoming the Netflix of games, right? And now with this Bethesda acquisition and all of the games that are brought in by it, and the recent addition of EA Play or whatever EA calls their pass, right? You now get all those EA games in addition to the games that you got before. So the library that you get with Game Pass is now starting to get kind of ridiculous. Like it's
What a deal.
a really good
Yeah.
deal, like a really good
Makes
proposition for consumers. And I think it's interesting that going into this next generation of consoles, we're not really seeing the companies tee up against each other the same way. Like it feels like Sony is still kind of doing the same console nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But Microsoft is kind of like, here are some boxes, but you can get everything on PC, and Games Pass is a thing. And like Nintendo's over there not even on the same cycle. Just
Right.
like, here's a Switch. We're going to put it out in the middle of console generations, and you're probably going to get another one in the middle of the next console generation.
Nintendo's never played the beats of the same drum as them. It's just because they don't. Why should they care? They're not in the same.
I mean, they
Different
did
target audience.
Like
the
Game-
first
GameCube
two
was pretty-
consoles that Xbox and PlayStation released, yeah, because they're like, oh crap, this is a competition now. Because at first it was just basically Nintendo and Sega died. So, like, what did they have after that? They had a grace period without anything, and then all of a sudden Xbox or Microsoft's like, oh, we're gonna join this race, and Sony's like, us too. So I get why they did that at first, but now it's like they realize that their audience is completely different, and not even completely different. Their audience is still gonna buy a Nintendo regardless if they buy an Xbox or a PlayStation most of the time.
Yeah.
So
They're
they don't
in,
care.
like, their own market.
Right. It's like you're buying a Nintendo for a completely different experience. You're buying it for a family. You're buying it for nostalgia. You're buying it for relaxation. It's altogether different, different entertainment. But I want to point out on this article that you had linked for all of this towards the bottom,
Which is from Forbes.com, written by Paul Tassi.
right?
Thanks,
And
Paul.
then at the bottom there's a tweet from Alex. How do you pronounce his last name?
Nell.
Anel?
Anel.
Anel. Sorry if
Anil.
we butchered
Anil.
your name,
Anil.
and I think Garrick did it on purpose, but nonetheless, not to
What?
offend. Is it Enel?
Just
Like,
get
Emil?
it. Come on.
Oh, okay. My point here is he put here that Bethesda's acquisition price was $7.5 billion. Sony's operating profit from 2013 to 2019 was $8.83 billion. That
Holy cow!
is ridiculous to me to think that Microsoft was like, boom, drops that much money, which it makes sense. They're giant. Like, they have the buying power. Sony has buying power, but like, I don't think that they sectionalize are they talking about Sony as a whole, I wonder?
I think
I think
Or
they're
the
talking about
gaming
Sony as
division.
a whole.
no,
Really?
No, the problem is Sony's very diversified because they have so much tech in so many industries.
Yeah, I feel
I
like that's
think-
each
I
division
think
of
This
Sony.
is about specifically Sony's gaming division.
And that goes to show you how much Microsoft does things differently than other companies. Microsoft doesn't care what division that
Well-
it's in, whether it's computer or gaming
well,
or whatever. They drop
think-
money.
I think, well, it makes sense for Microsoft because they're closer to what industries. There are fewer industries than Sony, because Microsoft is PC, game, and consoles and whatnot, and other services around that world, compared to Sony making clocks and
But
stuff.
I think that's what you're missing, though, is that, like, the services.
Right.
Like, and that's really
Yeah,
what
that's
this
where the
is
money's
that, like, Microsoft has so much more money to throw around in acquisitions like this
Right.
that, like, the Sony corporation just doesn't, right? And I'm
So-
talking the entirety of the corporation, right? Sony,
Right.
I'm pretty sure, doesn't bring in nearly the same type of money that Microsoft does.
Well, and Sony has
Yeah.
big competitors, but let's compare Sony's big competitors in its other markets. Like, it has Canon and Nikon, granted, for cameras, which those are
That's-
big
That's
heavyweights,
real-
but they can't drop money like Microsoft either. But then you look at Microsoft's competitors, you have Macintosh, you have Apple. Apple
Yeah.
is huge
But-
too. They're at the top.
I'm
And
This is
So,
it's
I'm on
still
the
okay.
I'm on the reset era thread, and it's outlining Sony's like financials, and
Yeah.
not just the gaming division. We're talking the entirety of Sony only made a net profit of $2 billion in 2019.
Holy cow!
that's
Wow.
crazy. And then
Well,
what's
because-
Microsoft's, I
okay,
wonder?
So let me answer this then. Let me get a chance to answer this. It's because the fact that there's not a big overhead for services for Microsoft. There's a big overhead for getting products to consumers' homes.
Physical products.
So
And you can see it here. They have a breakdown on the pie chart.
exactly.
The PlayStation brand is like almost 50% of Sony's profits, right? And everything else makes a smaller cut because, just what Garrick described, right?
Well, because people buy
Yeah.
cameras
But-
and they last for a while and
But
stuff
no,
like
no,
that.
no. That's not it. The reason why Microsoft is killing it is because Sony doesn't have any business solutions. Microsoft, their biggest solution, their biggest money income is business solutions, and
That's true.
so that's what you have to consider. It's not cameras, it's not consoles, it's not even consumer solutions, it's business solution.
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense. And that's what I'm saying.
and I think-
Microsoft has big boys that they're playing against too.
And I think what we're saying here is like a shift in direction based on that, right? Where, like I said, like Sony is still out here trying to play the original, console game of like we're putting out a new box. We got our exclusive games that are going to be on it that are going to make you want to pick up this box over the competitor boxes, right? Whereas over at Microsoft, they're like, yeah, we're putting out a box, but really what it's about is the service model, right? You
Yes.
want to buy Game Pass, you want to subscribe to Game Pass on your Xbox or on your PC, right?
The
And
P-
it's not even so much that they care whether or not you buy a PlayStation, because if you have a PC, you might still be spending the $10 a month for Game Pass.
That's just crazy
P-
to me that they finally threw in their business model, like their business sales model, into the gaming world. Because that's exactly like what you said, Garrick. They
Yeah.
that's what they do with business to business sales. They sell you a program and you use it, and the
Yeah.
business pays those yearly fees or whatever. That's
Yeah, well, that's the future.
they're
of it's
saving
like
so much
services
time by doing it this way.
Services and subscriptions.
money.
That's the future of
moment-
where everything's going.
The moment Sony figures that out and actually like fixes their whole services section for the PS5 might be give them the ability to fix that. But the problem is they're still beholden by the rest of their other industries that they're invested in. So they'll always be behind Microsoft. Because so think about this: the real competitors for Microsoft is Cisco or Amazon Web
Yeah.
Services.
Or like
That's the real
Oracle,
competitor.
right?
Like Sony is nothing to Microsoft.
Right, and I think
You're
that
nothing.
in a sense, Sony realizes that Sony is the offbeat anarchy of the systems. I mean, I guess you could argue Nintendo is too, but Nintendo has been established for so long. Like I said, they're their own niche. With Sony, I don't think they're aiming to be what Microsoft is. They're trying to. It's a gaming market where people that
Well,
love the
I don't think
consoles.
I don't think that they're in any position to try to do what Microsoft is doing.
Right, they don't have
So
the pull.
their only option, and it's not necessarily a bad one, right? Because I think that Sony is going to do fine in the next generation in terms of console sales and stuff like that, right? Tons of people are going to buy a PlayStation purely because they've had a PlayStation 4 and they're already entrenched in that ecosystem, right? They already have a bunch of games that they've bought on PSN that if they were to pick up an Xbox, those games don't carry over and they can't play them, right? So Sony already has like entrenched sales that are guaranteed pretty much. And for them, it's just a matter of getting more exclusive games on their platform as a reason to buy the system. And of course, also make this platform a good platform, right? In terms of UI and the interfaces and how it runs and stuff like that. Whereas here, right, with Microsoft, this like Bethesda acquisition, they're probably still going to put out all the Bethesda games on the Sony platforms. It's just that Microsoft also now makes a percentage cut from all the game sales, right?
Right.
So it's like it's thinking bigger picture, I feel like, than Sony because Sony doesn't have the room to even think bigger picture.
That's
Yeah.
why I think the console war whole concept was stupid, because even if Microsoft completely flopped in the game market, it wouldn't affect them. It would just be like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. And then they'd still put out the next console, and it's just like, maybe we do something better next time. Whereas Sony, if they flopped in their gaming section, it basically Sony would be no more. It's
Yeah,
half
it
their
would
company.
really hurt the company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So,
Whereas like Xbox is just kind of like a side thing for Microsoft
right.
that they've like thought about just shutting down at multiple points.
Right.
And
I
just,
mean,
like,
I
not
don't think they're
doing
anywhere
anymore.
near that anymore. But
No, not anymore, especially with the kind of direction that they're going in terms of like what we're saying, this like Netflix of games
it's very
type
smart.
of model.
But that's why I think the concept of console war is stupid. Not to say that Sony's bad or that it's like, oh, Xbox is better. I don't agree with that. I just think that it's two different ballparks that you're trying to compare.
Yeah, personally, I think Sony it will always be behind, even though it doesn't look like it. But at the same time, there will always be PlayStation because that never will matter.
Not behind per se, just like,
As far as a company goes, that's what I'm
oh
trying
yeah,
to say.
Sony as a
PlayStation-
whole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
PlayStation is killing it. PlayStation has killed it from since this last generation and probably this generation. The PlayStation will probably be just as good, if not better, than the Xbox. Like the lines are blurring as far as hardware, but services wise,
it makes
know
you
who's gonna
wonder
win.
if Sony should just double down on the gaming sector. I mean, like, not get rid of cameras necessarily, but like, what other things are they invested in that aren't doing well?
Yeah, I think. Well, they need to do less products, but they're too far invested in that. They're too diversified there to kind of like move around.
I mean, they're a manufacturing company. Microsoft is
Yeah.
a service company, so it makes sense either way.
Yeah, like they're so huge they can't shift gears, unfortunately.
Whereas like Microsoft is this giant like amalgamation of mass that just can send tendrils out in all different directions.
They're
Yeah.
so big it
And
doesn't matter. They're already
rapids.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing is that like Microsoft is rarely talked about compared to like Apple and Facebook
Yeah.
and Google. But Microsoft is a big deal still. They're like they always slip under the radar when it comes to news, but they make big moves sometimes.
I think it's just
And
because
maybe
everyone
it's-
accepts Microsoft.
Yeah,
for
I was
what
gonna
it
say I think
is.
it's a like because it's ubiquitous, right? Like if you're not running on a Mac, you're running on a Windows.
Yeah.
And you know and
They-
it's I feel like the difference too is that like Apple is constantly in your face about themselves as a company, whereas Microsoft is not so much about that.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Apple's always got to have like a big event for to showcase their new like, iOS update. And it's like,
I
they make
like
a thing out of things, which keeps them in like the talking sphere for people and like the zeitgeist.
right. And Microsoft doesn't have to spend the
at the
money
end of
on
the day,
that.
like, who
They're
cares?
just they silently
True.
slip in a 15-second commercial on a YouTube video right after Apple does their big announcement. And it's like, oh, they're coming out with a new tablet too. That's cool. But I think it's funny because us saying all that has made me realize like Microsoft is comfortable taking second to things. And they do it well because they're second to everything. Like, I'm not saying they're second to everything necessarily, but they can be second to everything. But since they're invested in so many different things, it basically makes them first because it's like they're the alternative all the time, no matter what.
Being second in the industries Microsoft is in is still a huge deal.
Right. And even if you want to argue, because like I don't feel like they're second in the computer industry. I feel like a lot of people say they have Apple products, and it's like they do, but a lot of people that have an iPhone still have a PC somewhere, whether it's a laptop or a tablet or a full-on rig. I mean, there's full-on people that just only buy Apple product, but
And I find that they always constantly run into issues.
Right.
Like
Or they have to
that's something that
constantly
I've
upgrade.
experienced from like having classes on Zoom and stuff, is the people who are running like on Apple computers always run into some kind of issue when it comes to sharing their screen or like getting audio or
Interesting.
stuff like that.
And no one knows how to help them because no one else has but the other
Yeah.
person
No,
that has
they
the
all
Apple product.
like they all have Apple computers and they just like deal with these issues.
What the typical solution for Apple computers is to recommend them going into like a Best Buy or something and purchasing a PC.
Oh, I mean,
Best
maybe.
solution is to just buy a fixed product. Okay, we're gonna move on from the. Actually, before we move on, I just want to say that I'm excited at the prospect of all of the company or all of the people, not all of the people, but like a good amount of the people who worked on the original Fallout games, all being owned by the same company again.
Nice.
So we might get like another
A
Fallout
better Fallout.
made by
I will
like
say
the original.
it's scary
team,
to
which
start
would be really
becoming
cool.
a world where like we're run by specific overlords like
Skynet,
Disney
yeah.
and now Microsoft.
But I mean, it's always
is
been like
acquiring
that.
Stuff. It has
Well-
been, but I gotta say it's kind of cool at the same time because look what the outcome was for Disney with Marvel. Marvel
they?
became
I hate
cohesive,
it.
and they can.
I
throw-
hate Disney. I hate Disney being this like corporate overlord that owns like the entirety of movies
I mean,
and like
to be fair, they fixed some franchises.
They
that they've
did.
acquired.
So that's what I'm saying. Like they have money to throw at it, so it's just like, oh shit, it didn't work. Throw a little bit more money at it, and we'll fix it. And that's the way I kind of feel with Microsoft.
yeah,
Now
tell
these
that to
companies
Star Wars.
have
I think the new people that are in charge of Star Wars will do a better job.
hopefully,
Yeah.
but
My
like the same
final
thing.
thought about this acquisition is as long as EA doesn't buy anything and acquire things, I'm happy with that. So
Yeah, let's just wait till
Go ahead,
Microsoft buys
Microsoft.
EA.
yes, they'll
Then
fix him. They'll
Then
set
I'll
him
be okay
straight
with
finally.
EA. Yeah, well, it's because like I feel like Microsoft, like we've been saying, they're so big they don't. There's still greed there, but I think EA is just a weird little. It's like a chihuahua. It's so
Well, I think it's
angry
more-
and loud.
I think it's more like the like big arm of the company is like more hands off. They just like look and they're like, okay, Phil, you got things running over there and you're doing good and things
do
are
you,
getting
boo.
like better year over year.
Yeah,
Just keep doing whatever you're doing.
they're
Right.
not worried about the like they're not letting
Yeah.
the shareholders control the
big problem,
creative
EA.
process.
Whereas like Sony has to micromanage because it's such an important arm of their business.
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
we'll see.
Anywho,
let's go ahead and move on
Any Hoosers?
to this is probably going to be a short one, but the everybody is out there playing and talking about Among Us.
Wow.
It's the game of the summer, I guess you. I don't know if you'd
Yeah,
call it
pretty
that.
much.
That
But
and
people
Fall
are
Guys.
playing it and like it.
I feel like Fall
Yeah.
Guys kind of dead.
It's
Yeah.
dwindling a little.
Eh,
hear-
people are
there's
still
more-
playing it.
Yeah, people are playing, but there's much more
But-
meme kind of new
It was
memes
like
coming out
two-
with
Yeah.
stuff,
Hype.
yeah.
I think Among Us has kind of taken over
Oh,
Yeah.
in that.
speaking of Among Us, I was browsing through Twitch, just through all the games, and like the top game of like 200K or 500K of views was Among Us like last week. It's crazy.
I think that's just because it's like all of the like big name streamers were all
True.
playing it,
yeah.
right?
Well, also-
PewDiePie, Toast,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Pokemon,
I-
all
I-
you know.
I also
Yeah.
think it's just so much popular just because you have to have people, and a lot of the smaller streamers, you know, like we do that. We bring in the chat, and I think that kind of starts growing, like kind of.
Oh,
makes-
it's interactive.
yeah, it's interactive, and it gets more people interested in the game
So-
because you can actually play those games.
So what you're saying is, John, we should be playing by ourselves more.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's an element
Yeah.
of like the audience being able to play along,
yeah, exactly.
right? Because you're only getting the game from one perspective, so you're like on the same
You're that
page as the
person.
streamer that you're watching,
Right.
and you're kind of like doing the detective work at the same time that they're doing the detective work and trying to
Yeah.
figure things out.
And
Or
probably
you're
on
like
voice
you
comms
figure it
too.
out ahead of them and you're like, oh, you're so stupid. Like
Right. It's the
it's
same thing as
clearly
watching
this guy.
a horror killing movie, like a suspenseful killing movie. And it's just like, oh, it was this person that's the murderer the whole time, and it's
Right.
like, don't go downstairs. He's right there, you idiot. Like, same idea, and it gets you enthralled, as you said.
Anyway, the whole point of us bringing this up is to say that they have canceled Among Us 2
Oh,
man.
no!
and are instead going to focus on working on Among Us 1
Oh, wow!
But that's
and just
done,
like fleshing
Joey.
out the content
What a
in that.
twist.
Yeah, and I thought this was interesting because it's like it's weird because like they announced Among Us 2 before the game kind of blew up, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
And now that the game like blew up, they're like totally shifting gears. And
The
they're like, why
developers
put
were
out a
just-
sequel?
The developers were just going on their merry way. Oh yeah, it's been a 2-year cycle. I guess it's time to refresh the franchise a bit and move
Or
on.
more like, I think it's more of a case of like, we put out the first one, right? And it like got the buzz that it did or whatever, right? We have ideas for what we want to do to the game in terms of like making it better or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And I think it makes sense from that perspective to make a sequel, right? Because then you get a
start from
new
scratch.
PR cycle
Well,
in a way,
also,
right?
Yeah.
the biggest thing about doing Among Us 2 is the fact that the coding is like
That's what I was
jumbled
saying.
up in Among Us 1.
It's such an
so-
old game. You think that they want to start from scratch just to kind of
Yeah, it would have made
build
more
upon it.
sense. I don't
Well,
know.
they want to ride on the coattail. Well, they want to improve because Among Us 1 is still like in the now. So they're like John, you've complained about the graphics. You complain about some mechanics being janky. So
Yeah,
why
but
not
by the-
fix it?
And
No,
and
but
to
by the
set-
time they fix
to
it,
set-
they could have had a
to
full new
set,
game
uh,
out.
to set a precedence for Among Us 2 and say we just made Among Us 1 better. So
Yeah.
just imagine what we're gonna do with Among Us 2.
yeah,
And also, it's
But-
I don't know. The way that I look at it is we're kind of in the era where sequels don't need to happen, right?
yeah,
Like I always think about like Destiny 2. Destiny 2 never should have been a thing, right? It ended up kind of having to be a thing because the engine's garbage and it's still kind of garbage, and they should probably completely reboot the game. But that's like a different topic for a different day. But like the kind of the only reason to do a sequel is to nowadays is to get a new PR cycle, really,
Mhm.
right? Because at the end of the day, you whatever you wanted to do in the sequel, you could just add to the existing game, even if it's something along the lines of like a complete graphics overhaul, right? Like you guys never want to talk about it, but Phantasy Star Online
Oh,
2 has New Genesis coming out, which
Yeah.
runs on a brand new engine, and they're going back and putting that engine on the original PSO2 and
Mhm.
updating the original game to the new engine.
right.
So it's like
But they have
totally
to-
possible for companies to
possible.
do that now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that it makes more sense to just have the like main platform than to muddy the water with a sequel.
I gotta give a slow clap to Activision though. They've stuck by their
Right.
guns. Have
Slow.
that wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh
really?
God, who was that? Anyhow, so they stuck to their guns about the whole renewal of the cycle every year, and I feel like they're one of the few companies that's done that consistently. So like they've been
Well-
meta for longer than we even realized it until you said it now,
But
Joey. Yeah.
PJ, the jokes on Activision, I don't buy every single game that they put out. Every
You
year.
don't.
Exactly.
But everyone
But
else
people
does.
do.
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah.
does.
Well, then they're
Shame on those people.
They need to.
But going back to the
think live.
Fantasy Star thing, like they did everything from scratch. Like they rebuilt the first game, right, with the new engine. So it's like, is that what they're gonna do in Among Us? Like essentially,
Well, no,
it is a
they-
new
they-
game. It's kind of a. It's like it's right.
Well,
it's a
in
new
the
graphics engine. They're just
Right,
implementing
okay.
a new graphics engine on top of the game.
Oh, on top of it. Okay.
Yeah, so they're not like
Okay.
redoing the game. They're just like making the graphics
Yeah.
prettier,
That's
making
just
the assets
funky to
prettier.
me, though.
there's
Why?
there's some limitations in the first Among Us, which
Yeah.
they're willing to work past
Okay.
because Among Us One is so hyped.
It's
right
just because
now.
it's hype. Okay. Because like
Is
I
that
don't know. It's like I'm not a programmer, but it's like as a like artistic person, it's like if I want to improve on something, it's a lot easier to start over from scratch than to kind of try to wiggle your way through like what the mess of the project you've already started. You know, it's so
But
much
is
easier just to start all over again.
is it gameplay limitations due to the graphics engine? That's what I don't understand, because like that makes zero sense to me. That game is supposed to be a like arcade cutesy indie game.
Well,
Why
it's
does
not
it
just
have to
It's a mobile
be
game.
like, NBA 2020 with
No, it's
Oh, I
not
want
fucking
I
extra
want I
beads
want
of sweat?
RTX. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
there
want.
better be ray
like to
tracing
see it.
on it,
Yeah.
and I better
I
see
need to
every
see
bead
the
of sweat
blood
and
puddles.
yeah,
Shiny
exactly.
blood puddles.
I don't
I think
understand that.
I think it's in that article about like what
Oh.
he said.
Oops.
Awkward.
Oh,
But
awkward.
it's
I
not
didn't
just
either.
graphics. It's actual gameplay mechanics that they wanted to add, but they were
They're
wanting to save
fixing
it for
spaghetti code.
two because their the code base that they used in Among Us One is outdated.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna
they
make it
couldn't
yeah.
have
So why not
colorblind
start
mode
over?
or
If that's what
whatever.
they said.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand this move. I don't think it makes any sense. But there's
So
a
let me
market
just
for
read
it,
it.
I guess.
The main reason we are shooting for a sequel is because the code base of Among Us One is so outdated and not built to support adding
Right.
so much
Okay.
content. However, seeing so many people are enjoying Among Us One really makes us want to be able to support the game and take it to the next level.
I don't know why, but
I
I'm
don't
like,
get it.
just make a sequel, make more money.
Yeah.
I usually don't say that to other like companies, but
Yeah.
I feel like they
I don't know.
deserve it.
They do. Yeah, they made a good game.
Yeah.
Let people play it and wear it out, and then make the second one and
Sick.
build off a new
Yep.
engine
Yeah.
instead of trying
Yeah,
to
Interesting.
rebuild
and
it.
I kind of agree with that because probably by the time they implement enough fixes or patches or changes,
The game will either
Among
be
Us will
dead or people
probably
will be
be
moving
less
on.
popular.
It was just a
Yeah.
weird business move. It doesn't affect the gamers at all. I mean, it does to the extent that they don't get a new game now, but it doesn't
So-
affect anyone but the company.
Also, I want to elaborate more on that entire quote, which is from a Kotaku article, by the way, by Luke Plunkett.
Thank you.
But so Garrick mentioned the quote, right? Main reason shooting for a sequel is because the code base Among Us, right. So they further elaborate and say that they're going to go into the deep core code of Among Us 1 and rework parts of it. So it's like, it's not like they're just like, whatever, we're just going to cash grab and continue to work on or continue to make content for Among Us 1 to make money on it.
No.
It's instead of making a sequel and putting it out and charging people more money for another game, we're just going to go into the back end and fix the code of Among Us 1 so that we can implement all of the changes that we wanted to do in Among Us 2 into the first game.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Also-
if it's easier that way, then yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
but
you got to realize that they probably aren't making as much money on Steam as they are on mobile through mobile ads. So that's probably another reason why they want to stick with Among Us One right now, because people are using it so much.
Mm.
So just add content so people just come back to it instead of saying, "Okay, drop everything you had in Among Us One and go to Among Us Two now."
Yeah.
It's just like it makes it easier for them.
What
since they're already
exactly?
there, right?
Yeah. What other things could they add to? I'm not that creative when it comes to those type of games. Like what could you do to add
I don't
to
know.
the game?
Maybe more maps. I'm not sure.
I don't
There-
see why you rewrite the whole code just to add more maps, right?
Well,
Like
that's
what
the
could
thing.
possibly?
Yeah. Does anyone else have an opinion? Because I don't know what
Yeah.
I like the game as it is right now.
Yeah.
So
Even if there's,
Well,
there's a
no.
sequel, it's like I don't know what you could add to make it different.
maybe voice comms at
There's-
least.
Well, I think that there's potentially maybe systems that they wanted to introduce that they couldn't because of the code for whatever reason, right? And
Right.
I think it might be one of those things of like we don't really have any concept of what it could be
Yeah.
because we're just on the outside looking in, trying to be like, I don't know, what could they add, right? Whereas they actually kind of have a good idea of the direction that they wanted to take the gameplay going forward. But in the Kotaku article, they talk a little bit about the first new content that's going to hit, like a friends system, colorblind support, which will add more colors to the game, and a new stage.
Okay.
So, and I think that's a big one, is adding new levels,
Yeah.
right? New maps that
But
you have to
also,
learn to
okay.
traverse.
So you guys are you guys are scrutinizing this game and comparing it to like an Activision situation. This is an indie game developer, and the choices that they're making is in the mindset of an indie game developer, right? Compared to wanting to shift gears like to the next IP that like Activision would do, right? So
Yeah, well, yeah,
make
so
make
they're
it
like
that.
they're doing the opposite of what Activision would do because they're in a different position than Activision is, right? Activision's in a position where they can just make a sequel and people will buy the sequel because it's like a new big name property, right? Like Destiny or
It's
Call of Duty. But
essentially it's more cost effective for them to just make a new game compared to maybe these guys. I don't know how many developers there are, maybe one or two. Maybe it's easier for them to just fix what they have right now while the tidal wave of popularity is still there.
Yeah.
well,
Just
and
to
I
make
think
the game more
marketing is also
accessible,
a
I
big
guess.
element of it,
Mhm.
right? Because it's like if they make a new Among Us, right? That's a new app that people need to
Yeah.
download from the App Store on their phone. And how long is it until people realize that that's out, especially the like casuals? Because like that's the thing about this game is there's
That's
so
true.
many people who are picking it up that are just like tangentially into video games, right? Because it's like easy to play and its premise isn't necessarily on its gameplay, it's on its like social elements.
Right.
Um,
And
so you're like casual phone player, if they put out a new app and they are not going to the App Store very often, they might not even realize that the new game is out for a significant period of time.
That's
and
true.
also the fact that you have like so that ad revenue from the mobile app, if they keep on adding content, they'll retain these players for longer, which will give them more capital to then focus on Among Us 2 down the road. So I think that might be a reason why they're also shifting gears back to Among Us 1.
Well,
That
and
might be a business
I,
decision.
if in marketing, whenever they're looking at graphs too, it's like everything has its lifetime. It could still be in a heavy uprise. Like it might not be in its afterlife cycle yet. Like the reason why it works for Activision and Call of Duty for them to do the game every year is because they start seeing the decline in population at the, like October-ish area, and that's part of that's artificial because they create that problem by releasing the game. So
The
like
game is
the year late
designed
at-
to be like that.
right. They,
There's only so much content in it to last you a year.
right.
And then theoretically to last you a year.
Right.
And then you want to move on to the next game.
Exactly. And not only that, and like I said, they cannibalize their own game by putting out a new one because everyone's like, "Oh, the new one's going to come out soon. I might as well give it a break so I can be ready for the next one." Or
and the
whatever.
new one is clearly going to be better, right? Because it can't be better and not be, or not, it can't be new and not be better. Like that doesn't make any
What?
sense.
Right. So that's probably the difference that they saw there is they're still seeing a steady uprise, and it's probably going up exponentially every day. So they're just like, fuck it, we can get an update out in 2 weeks if we do it this way versus releasing a whole new game, which could take a year.
But also, like I think the biggest answer, like I repeated, is just the fact that it's a mobile game because you don't see
Yeah,
like
I was just about to
Farmville.
say that.
You don't see Farmville 2 on
Oh,
the App
awkward.
Store. Wait, is there?
I don't know.
Farmville, I think.
Oh,
is
yeah.
dead.
I want
Oh,
to be
think
God.
there might
Wait,
be.
hold on. Let me go do some
awkward.
research. Farmville.
Okay,
2.
do it. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
But what my point is, it's hard. Like it's hard to shift like people
They're at
from.
Farmville 3 right now.
Oh, awkward.
And there's still that person that's spending $5,000 on it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, good for Among Us. I'm happy that they're doing well.
And we'll see how they do in the future. I feel like this game is probably going to be big for pretty significant
Oh,
amount
yeah.
of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's
'cause
just
that's the
weird
thing.
how they didn't like catch on when it first released, and it just caught on now.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think of it like a fire, right? Like you start with some embers, and it like kind of can take a while for those embers to start to like spread out to the other kindling. But then once it like ignites, it's fire. It's on fire,
Yeah.
right? And it's just blazing. So I think it's one of those cases of like it came out and people didn't really know about it, and then as more and more people found out about it, more and more people talked about it, and it just spread out from there, right?
A game went
So-
viral.
Yeah. I mean,
Unlike
a lot of games do that.
I think that Among Us is probably going to end up having more staying power than Fall Guys, because Fall Guys is like heavily carried on the mini games,
Yeah.
and once you kind of like learn the mini games, I just feel like you get bored of Fall Guys quicker.
I agree.
Whereas like the kind of interesting dynamic of the social aspects of Among Us keep it like endlessly interesting.
Play with different groups of people. It's always different. Make your own game types, like we did on the last stream.
Oh yeah.
I
actually
saw
made the game enjoyable
somebody-
for me.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Alpha Rad, but they were playing with no emergency buttons. So like you could only to have a meeting if somebody found a body.
Nice.
Change
Yeah,
the game up.
we played tag.
Tag was fun. Yeah.
Changed it up. It was
What
fun.
I don't understand, because a lot of people on Reddit, when they're talking about the game, they're talking about not playing in voice chat. I don't understand how anyone can do that.
I would never
like-
play that game.
it's
Doesn't
not-
sound
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were playing in typing, and it
Typing.
it was a
But
thing that was
especially if you
happening.
play like the actual rules, all you have to do is like red sus, red sus. It's like there's no kind of
I didn't
inflection.
do
Or
it,
you can't
and
really.
then you get fucking
Yeah.
off by typing that. But the cool
but I
thing
mean,
is just
maybe-
the manners that you have.
I was gonna say it's kind of like a different element, right? Because you're now losing all of that, like
Defense.
tone
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
and
like
I
the
think
way
that's
that
what
people
makes it-
speak, you can't.
Yeah.
So, like
That's what
you're right.
makes it interesting for me though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it becomes more of a you have to act when you're in voice comms in that game
Yeah,
in
exactly.
a way that when you're just typing, I think it becomes more of a logic puzzle, right? Of how am I going to
Yeah.
manipulate these people? Whereas like when you're on voice comms, you need to
Yeah.
act, right? You need to know how to fake it if you're faking it, right?
Yeah. It's
So
I
it's a
feel
little
like
bit different.
Yeah, but also in chat, it's like it's just more likely just to be memeing. Like you're not even trying to like do the logic. You're just kind of just trying to meme on people and just be like, it's just not interesting to me.
Okay. We're going to do. I think we're going to move on, and we're going to do our game show
Game.
idea that we
Game
came up
show.
with for the middle of
Wow.
the podcast. So, PJ, you want to take it away?
It's time for everyone's favorite game. Name that game. The game where you guess the game and the prize is nothing but bragging rights. With our host, Joey.
All right, welcome to Name That Game, a game show inside of a podcast where our three contestants are going to get some clues as to
Oh,
a
wow.
character inside of a video game, and they're going to have to buzz in and name that game.
Oh shoot!
So the way we're going to do it is we have them buzzing in over Discord.
I
And
mean, I would buzz in
let
real life
me-
too, or in audio too.
Yeah, you can like audio
Nice.
buzz in at the same time, but I'm using the Discord, so I have like an actual order.
Yay.
And basically what's going to happen is
God.
I'm going to describe a character,
Uh-huh.
and then as soon as you know the character and the game that the character is from. Key thing here is I'm looking for the game,
Game name. Got
right?
it.
If you have the character and you don't have the game, you
Ooh.
don't get a point. But if you have the game and the character, you get 2 points. Single point for just having the game and not having the character name, because that is also possible.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on any given question, well, it depends, right? Some of them will also have franchise and the game. I will let you know
Okay.
if how many
one gets
points a question
One buzz, one guess.
will
Right?
bear.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
you
One buzz,
buzz in once, you get one guess. If you're wrong, you don't get to answer again, and the other players have a shot.
So play along with us at home, folks.
Oh yeah. I got my
Alrighty.
buzzer ready. Button.
So we're going to start
Okay.
off here
It's ready.
with the first game and the first character.
Uh-huh.
Currently a wrestling manager and fight promoter at the Glitz Pit. This character was a champion wrestler and martial artist in his younger days, but retired to become Glitzville's famous fight promoter.
What?
Initially presented as a uninvolved third party in the battle with the X-Nauts for the Crystal Stars, it is eventually revealed that this character possesses the Gold Star
Uh-huh.
and has been using it to drain other fighters of their strength. Name that game.
Holy cow.
Tech has buzzed in. Tech, name that game.
I can't think of the name of the character, but it is Paper Mario 1000-Year Door, and I'm pretty sure it's Gump, something Bubba Gump, I want to say.
What?
No, I know that's from
PJ is getting a single point for that.
Oh.
but
Oh,
it's
wow.
Gump something, right?
He
For
got the name of the game correct.
Bubblegum.
That's not
It
fair
is
because
Paper
PJ
Mario,
was
the
recently
1000-Year Door.
playing Paper Mario.
I was playing Paper Mario Origami King. It has nothing to do with that
I
storyline.
don't know about that.
I don't know. It's,
It
villains
doesn't matter
often
because
come
I
back
know
in
it and you
Mario.
don't. So ha. But what was the name of
Maybe
the
you guys
character?
should look at some more games.
Oh, jeez.
I actually
find
know
some
that from Game
characters.
Grumps.
Anyway,
me a Call
the
of
character
Duty
name's
question.
wrong.
What's,
Who knows? Maybe there will be a Call of Duty question. You don't know.
Oh.
So wait, does
If
anyone
not
want
this
to try
week,
to
maybe
guess
another
at
week.
the name then? Because I was wrong on the name. I think it's something Gump, but I might be wrong.
No, he's just game name. Is the answer you give, right?
No, I think that no, they don't get to guess the name.
Oh, can I know the name? Because I forgot it.
Yes, the name of the character that we are looking for is Grubba.
Grubba. I knew
Bubba
something about
Gump.
you. No, I know Bubba Gump. I was thinking of Forrest Gump for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyhow, go ahead. I'll take.
All
the point.
right. So on the board is PJ, and we'll talk about this in a bit. But I was wondering how we're going to do the scoring going forward. I was thinking maybe we do like 4 weeks, and then at the end of the 4 weeks, the person with the most points
Oh, wow.
wins that week's
Okay.
or that month's. But moving on
Very
to
nice.
the second character. First encountered in the dry docks of Central Yarnum, this character is an assassin whose sworn duty is to dispose of other hunters that have been corrupted by their lust for blood. She hails from outside Yarnum and is a foreigner to the region, but her presence in the city is driven by an entirely different set of motives. Name that game.
Oh
What?
God.
I'm not good at this game.
Oh, by the way, you guys are on 60-second timers. I
Oh,
forgot to
these
mention
are-
that.
can I have
Are
more
these
clues?
RP
Beep. This is a wild
John
guess.
chimed in.
Dishonored.
You would be incorrect.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
Can I have
I
another
don't know
clue?
what Varnum is.
I don't know what
Yarnum.
Yarnum is either.
No, you don't get another clue. You get the
Oh.
description that I read.
That was
Oh.
a very long timer. That's why I rushed it.
Hold on. I'm thinking. Assassin. You said hunts other hunts. I'll. Sure. Beep.
Ah,
Just
I
Buzz.
don't know.
Buzz. Beep. God, what's that name? The name of the game.
You can't beep and then
No,
Yeah,
Demon
you
Souls.
have 10 seconds.
Sure,
Beep.
we'll go with that.
wait. What was your answer?
Demon Souls. I don't know.
You would be incorrect.
Damn it.
Garrick, do you have a guess?
Let's just say, Dragon Age.
Wow, I'd be surprised it was right.
Unfortunately, nobody is awarded points
Oh,
this
wow.
round.
Oh,
The
oh.
answer we are looking for is Eileen the Crow from Bloodborne.
Bloodborne.
Oh, yeah, no one had it known.
Awkward.
Now that I was like, it's one of the things in the Demon Souls series, but I couldn't remember what because Yarnum sounded familiar. Damn it.
Yeah, that was the
Is
big
that
clue.
like
was
a
Yarnum.
city made out of yarn?
No.
Mhm.
I was gonna say
it's a
Yoshi,
dreary city.
Yarn Yoshi or whatever it's called. Yoshi Yarn
No.
Adventures of.
I
Plushie.
Your dishonored guess wasn't terrible.
no, it was
honestly.
actually pretty good. I was
sweet.
like, oh, that might be it. But I had a weird feeling it was something in that series. Anyhow, is there another one? This is fun.
All right, moving on to the third and final game for today's show.
There's only 3. Okay.
Wow.
Oopsies.
An operator with the USMC First Force Reconnaissance Company. This character was sent to the Middle East in search of Khaled Assad. The platoon, led by Lieutenant Vasquez, landed in a coastal town and headed to the local OP4 headquarters where they believed al-Assad is hiding. After the search of the HQ proved unsuccessful, Vasquez was informed by command that al-Assad was broadcasting in a TV station not far from their position. Name that game.
It's Call of. Oh, sorry. Buzz. It's Call of Duty. It could either be Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare.
Hey, you don't get options. You choose
Hey.
one.
Well,
You
no,
have to
because
pick
they're
one.
in both. But so let's just go with Call of Duty 4, and you said name the character.
You get an extra point if you name the character.
God, who is in that one? Shit.
Seconds.
I don't remember the character names in that one, but it was the American company in that game. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't remember. But you guys can guess the name if you want.
I'm going to open this one up. You guys can guess the name for a point.
What was the question?
So was he right?
Okay, he was right about... Well, wait, what was the game that you said? What
Call of Duty
hard, firm answer?
4, the original.
Okay,
Modern
you are
Warfare.
correct.
I know that because that's an exact
will-
description from the game.
It's a description of the mission that I got from the wiki
Okay.
or the
Wait.
character's bio.
Okay. So, I'll guess. General Shepard with the Shadow Company.
Garrick is incorrect.
Oh. Okay. Go on,
John, would you like to
Beep!
guess?
The ghost guy from
John
wherever
is-
he is.
Also incorrect.
Ah, damn.
The character we are looking
either
for
probably
is
better.
Sergeant Paul Jackson.
I
Paul
wouldn't have
Jackson.
guessed
Oh.
that.
I know a kid.
Yeah,
Never
I
mind.
went to high school with
John,
Paul
we-
Jackson.
We all do.
Oh, we did.
It's such
Oh, we
a
went to the same
generic
school.
name that like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot we went to the
Anyways.
same school.
Oh my God, John.
I wouldn't. Have,
Early
yeah, I wouldn't have.
onset.
I wouldn't have guessed that name. But yeah. Oh.
It is a very common name. Yeah.
all right. So looking at the board, we have PJ
Oops.
with 2 points
He cheated.
Oh my God.
Obviously
I
cheated.
know.
and 0 points for the other contestants.
asked
But
for
of
Call
course,
of
this
Duty.
is
This
going
was-
to
this
continue
was
to
rigged.
run.
Yeah, more recent though.
And
I mean, it's a Call of Duty. This
Yeah,
this is
okay,
gonna
go
get
on.
We'll see
ugly
what
by
we have.
next week.
It's
We're gonna
gonna
be
get
like
I know, right?
throwing
But I
shit
love
at
it.
each other, like you
This is fun,
fucking
though.
cheated, you asshole.
Yeah.
I love
Anyhow.
it. I love
PJ
it.
kind of sus.
That was
very
fun.
sus.
I
also
enjoyed that.
remember, I am the ultimate like king of points, so I can arbitrarily take points away and
Oh,
give them to other
sweet.
people.
Oh, thank goodness.
Wait, what?
Okay.
The points
So
don't matter. What
be
is this?
advised.
Yes.
No, points matter. It's just I'm in control
Allegedly.
of points. So
Okay,
keep
Drew
that in
Carey.
mind.
Okay, Drew Carey.
Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for us here on Name the Game, the
Wow.
game show within the podcast.
Name
Let's
that
hold for the
game.
outro.
We're making an
Oh, is
outro?
there an outro?
Shit. Sure.
I just made one for you.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So, what we got some things on here. We're gonna play by ear real quick. Do you guys want to do the tech tunnel?
Oh,
or do we
sure.
want to
That
head
should be
down
really
Call of
quick.
Duty corner?
I feel
I think we
like
can maybe
Call
do
of-
both of them, honestly.
Oh, tempting.
Lightning
Let-
round.
let's
But
play
I think
by
we should do
ear
Tech
with-
Tunnel because Call of Duty
Tech-
can be
It's-
talked about next week. Let's do Tech Tunnel.
It's very, yeah. Sure. Let's do it.
Vroom vroom. We're heading into the Tech Tunnel.
Whoa!
I'm not making
Let's
one
wait.
for that.
Pause for intro.
No, I'm not doing one for that. Your intro
Okay.
was Joey.
Still pausing.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Joey, go ahead.
Alrighty. So, we got an article on here from The Verge.
Wow.
Tesla has a $25,000 car in the works using new battery tech that is projected to be on the market by 2023.
Wow.
Holy cow.
It's pretty cheap.
That's a pretty cheap car, though.
Yep.
What do you guys think about this? Tesla just getting deeper and deeper into the market of
Let's-
electronic vehicles,
let's
making
fill
them
in the
cheaper and
gaps a little.
cheaper.
Let's fill in the gaps a little bit here. So as it is right now, I believe the price per kilowatt hour is like $125 per
That's a lot of
kilowatt hour. So it's weird math, but by the time this new car comes around, it'll be down to $100 per kilowatt hour. And if you think about how many kilowatt hours they put into a battery for the distance, I'm just gonna say it's a lot. So it really adds up, and the whole premise of this is making a cheaper battery because the battery's the most expensive thing, right? So you get a more affordable car, but same range, if not more.
Numbers and statistics brought to you by The Verge. Andrew Hawkins, thank you for your information. We appreciate it.
Oh yes, indeed. And another thing is, I wanted to point out that the cheapest EV as it is right now is at least $30,000, and that's not cheap. So it's not affordable, and the range is like half of the distance for like even the Model 3 right now. So it doesn't make sense for people to invest in an EV right now. So with that said, let's go ahead and open the floor. What
I
are
don't
your
know what
thoughts?
any of that means.
That's the thing is like Tesla needs to get their cars down into like the 12 to 16 grand range, right?
Yeah.
Like they need to be in a like affordable sedan,
Or other
right? We're
companies
talking
gotta
like
start-
Civic, Camry range,
Yeah.
right? Or another company needs to get in there, but like like electronic vehicles aren't going to be as ubiquitous as they need to be until these price points get down to the range where it's makes more sense for you to pick up an electronic vehicle over a gas-based vehicle.
But also, the most important thing is not only the cheaper price, but also an equivalent range to regular gas, fossil fuel vehicles.
So yeah, ultimately a big part of that is being comparable to those same. It's like price and ability, right?
Right.
Well,
They have to both perform at the same level at the same price point.
for the next portion of this topic, just to rope it in to make half joke, half like actual statement. Newsom is saying that by 2035 he plans on having all electric vehicles in California, like law.
This is Governor
Governor of California.
Gavin Newsom for those who don't live in California.
Right, thank you. So like Affordable Car Act ? I mean, that'd be an interesting thing. Government funded like discounts for electric cars that bring them in more of a sedan price range. Maybe not by that much, but like a few $1,000s to help out with families that can't afford it, because that would lower
great
emissions.
Point, PJ.
I
The
mean,
funny thing is, they do offer a tax credit as it is now, so I think
Yeah,
they're
they do.
still going to continue with that.
but how
Also,
much?
Because
not-
they're really
not-
trying to promote that.
They're just they want to stop the sales of new gas vehicles, so there will
Yeah.
be like used and whatever's currently on the
I
roads
think-
right now.
I think the
So-
real question for including this article or this statement about Newsom making a pledge is, do you guys think it's possible with the trends that we're going with, or practical by 2035 to ban all fossil fuel cars
Sales them
sales.
Just sales, I'd see it, but
or new. Yeah.
yeah, new
well,
sales.
and it's
of
only
it,
the
I'd see
sales
it.
of like new ones, right? Because
Yeah,
that's the
new
thing,
ones.
and it's kind of a little bit of the fear is that the used car market is going to get crazy in California, right?
Hey, that's
Because
gonna create more
theoretically
jobs,
you'll be
right?
able to like bring in a gas vehicle, a used gas vehicle, right? Like an older gas vehicle and
Yeah.
still sell it.
Well, you can
Or
still
from out
import
of
them from other
or
states, yeah.
from out of state. Yeah, but that
Exactly,
makes
out of
things a
state.
little more expensive, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, you could go buy a car in Texas and drive it back, and it'd
Yeah.
probably be
That makes sense.
cheaper. But I don't know. Like, I see it. It's possible, but I don't think it's gonna be a thing that's gonna make it. I mean, Newsom's not gonna be there forever, and it's
Yeah.
his
15
follow-ups
years?
going to.
It's like a
agree with
pledge
that.
that's nice on. It's a pledge that's nice on paper, but like at
It's
the
an
end of the
empty
day,
promise.
it's because it's not.
It's
It's
something
not
you
not
his
can-
law.
choice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really whether or not the
Technology.
it's whether or
there.
not that electronic
Yeah.
vehicles get cheap enough to the
Yeah.
point at or by 2035 that they are the logical thing for people to purchase.
How long is the
Right.
election period of a governor?
The term.
Yeah.
It's 4 years, two terms, I believe.
Okay, so
as
same
well.
as president. Okay.
Yeah. The
So
only
he
thing
doesn't have
reason
the pull
why
to do that.
Yeah. The only reason why I think this is viable is just looking at the competition of Tesla. Like even fossil fuel cars like BMW and all these other manufacturers
all-
are
they're all
actually
EV
investing
cars.
heavily into EVs, which is
Yeah.
makes things a little brighter in terms of this pledge.
I like it. It's
right-
cool, and I hope that it does happen.
Yeah. Is the price point of Tesla like? Is it mainly the battery? It's if they can make it cheaper and more efficient.
The
bring down
battery and the
price?
little technology around it, probably.
Because
I think
Yeah.
I know
they
pretty much all the
soup up
other
the
like
cars.
electric vehicles are like they're all like what's it called the high end vehicles,
Yeah, luxury.
luxury vehicles. So it's like
Yeah.
once they get to the point where electric isn't a luxury and just normal
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, because of how it works, they need to make a really like new businesses or manufacturers getting into this a new market. They need to make an expensive product first and
Yeah.
slowly bring
Yeah.
it down. So, what is that term called, PJ? Scale,
Technology, pretty much. Yeah.
something
like
scales, economy
early
of scales.
adopter, yeah.
Yes.
That's the
was-
word.
I was like, where are you going with
Great.
And-
Thanks for reminding
Yeah,
me.
I'm glad I
PJ.
could be
And
there.
like new technology is always going to be pricey when it first
Yeah.
comes out and gradually decrease in price over time as the production of it ramps up, right? Because it's usually like they figure out technology and then they figure out how to increase production on that technology, bringing down the price.
Yeah, that's economy of scale.
So
Yeah, I can see it happening. Also, it's like the next car I'm gonna
we'll
buy
have to see.
is gonna be electric. It's like I don't want a gas vehicle.
I'd
It's like,
rather
if
have
you ever
electric.
driven a Tesla. It's like it's like you got the power. It's like if you want the need for speed, oh my god, the Tesla's
Yeah.
freaking fast. Like it's quiet. It's like there's no vroom.
I think it
sounds,
has to do with
It's like it's clean.
convenience too, though, John. Because
Yeah.
like where we live, there's not really like we don't have a garage. We don't have a place to plug it in. Like yeah,
Yeah.
you can charge it externally, but it's like I'd rather be able to just charge it at home. If I'm gonna get a car where I can charge it, I want to
Well,
be
you
able
still
to
have to
plug
go
it
to the
into
gas
wall.
station. It's
Yeah,
like you
it
go
is.
to the gas station to fill up your gas vehicle. You can't.
How long
be at
does it
home
take
and-
to charge a Tesla, though?
It depends
Um,
on your journey. So if you're doing normal commutes from where you are to your work, you can probably just stop by Target and charge up there for 30 minutes when you're in the store, and then you're good for the next week.
It depends on the grade of
yeah.
the charger as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so
Um,
you can have them attached to your house. Like, you could get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
charger in your house. And if you
Again,
think
it's like
about
you can
like,
go on your lunch break and you can go down the street to the charger and you can just charge up.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
always the fear
sounds
that
inc-
barrier to entry. But
Yeah.
with this pledge in in
California.
California, I think they're gonna be like attending to that issue where even though we have a lot of chargers in our area, they're probably gonna add even more with
That's
this
the thing. They have to
pledge.
get the infrastructure down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like when I said, it's like you go to the store, your car is literally charging itself. You know, it's like you don't have to go to another gas station once done with the store.
Mhm.
It's just
That's
even,
so
like-
convenient. It's so convenient.
But
Or
would they
even, yeah,
charge you for
or
that,
at
or does
work
it just
or
happen?
something.
Like, do you just plug it in and it works automatically?
you-
Are they
you
going to
char-
put a
you charge
quarter
it,
in the
yeah.
machine?
They'll
Well,
charge
it's
you.
it's through your it's billing cycle, but it's much cheaper
Yeah.
than filling up a gas tank.
Yeah, you're gonna save a ton of money, especially for
Yeah.
those commuters, those daily driver commuters. You're gonna be spending pennies on the dollar
Yeah.
compared to
Like $30
buying
a tank
gas.
or
Like
whatever.
even doing the road
So-
trip with a Tesla, from LA pretty much to San Francisco, we had one stop, and that was literally our lunch stop. So we were like, I don't know, middle of mid California. Stop for lunch. I think it was like 40 minutes, and we had enough charge to make it to the rest of the trip.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I'm on board with it, and I'm sure like it will be worked into the routine. But, eh.
It's cool. I want it. I want it.
I'm excited.
I'm excited, yeah.
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 I mean, 10 years from now, I'm definitely gonna be on my
Also-
next car.
Yeah.
So-
Also, it's funny when you have one of those super sporty cars that are really loud, and they're like struggling. You're like, "Vroom, vroom, vroom," and you're just in your Tesla, it's like you keep like
Yeah.
eating faster than them.
Later.
Like, seeing them struggle.
Yeah.
So loud.
It's just a mentality.
Yeah.
Like right now, the culture is I can't live without my gas guzzler.
Like once you get an electric, you won't even like realize what you're missing.
Yeah. I can't wait to get my Tesla in a few years.
Or any other.
TM.
Hopefully, hey, any other companies, do better, make it cheaper.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
car.
yeah.
Yeah,
love
I
the
definitely
Tesla.
want a Dodge or a Chrysler version of that.
Yeah.
Because I still want to own a Dodge Charger at one point.
But
Oh,
Tesla's
wow.
American made
Electric charger.
too.
Yeah. No, but I
Are
like
Dodge
the
American?
Charger.
Oh, yeah, Charger. Okay.
Yeah, I just like the make of it. And,
What if it's Dodge,
Uh,
but it's like a box? It's like a box Dodge truck.
I mean, I almost
Oh.
wanted to own a Scion as my first car, so I guess it wouldn't have bothered
awkward.
me too bad.
Oh,
But now that
I see.
I
Cube.
see the Scion so often, I don't. I'm happy I went with a Chrysler instead. Like I'm much happier with it. But yeah, the Scion was my first like, oh, I like this car. But then after seeing it so much, I'm like, man, that would have looked really awkward. So I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah. Good stuff. Can't wait for the future.
Okay. Well, this is getting a little bit long. I think we should maybe push Call of Duty to next week.
Call of
Oh.
Duty Core. Can we still
You have to wait till next week, guys.
Well,
Sorry.
we're gonna give you our full impressions of it too, because we're actually gonna play this week. So
just
we'll
came
give
out
you
Yeah.
today.
a little bit
Oh,
more
yeah.
information. It just came out today, and
Yeah.
we all worked. So yeah.
No
It's
one's
gonna
got
be-
a chance to play it. No one knows what's up. I mean, we know what's up because we saw the patch notes, but
Yeah. Also,
can't
I
really
heard
give
some very
impressions
big
on it yet.
game-breaking bugs from the new areas. So
Hopefully that will be
man.
fixed by
on
the
the
time we
Warzone
actually
map?
give our
Yeah.
by the time we
And
give our
server
review.
issues. We'll see. But
Well,
it's
we'll
gonna be
have
an
to see.
interesting thing. The content's gonna be interesting, so you'll just have to wait.
wow.
We'll tell you all about it next week.
okay. Yep, so I think that's gonna do it for us here on the Phat Peeps. But before we go, we're gonna do some shameless plugs.
Oh
there's
yeah.
a YouTube. You might be listening to the podcast on the YouTube,
Oh wow.
Wow.
but we also put up Let's Plays and stuff. What's on the YouTube right now, PJ?
So just yesterday, John posted a World of Warcraft playthrough with the amazing, the wonderful,
Excuse me, it's
the
Wow.
Shadowlands pre-patch V9.0. Okay, get it right.
yes,
True.
yes, the amazing, the wonderful, the ever knowledgeable and fantastic Brandon guided us through a very
done.
fun gameplay of WoW. We had a lot of crazy antics, and I think we played for a little over 3 hours. So poor John had to go through all that
So
footage.
long.
But
So
he
much
compiled
fun.
all of that wonderfulness into a less than half-hour package for you guys to enjoy. It was hilarious. I've watched it twice now. So
Oh
make sure
God.
you guys head
Why'd
over
you do
there
that?
and check that out. Let us know what you think of that.
And don't forget, I cameoed it there, guys.
He did.
He did.
Look out for Garrick's cameo.
He did.
Yeah, Captain Garrick is the name you're looking for.
Oh, don't spoil it.
Oh. He did. Anyhow, then you guys got this wonderful piece today, of course. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it with our new little addition of Name That Game. We'll try to make that a concurrent thing and maybe think of some other new ideas. If you got any, throw them in the comments below. Thursdays, I'm still finishing up my Greasy playthrough. I probably got
so greasy.
one more episode tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens next. And then Sundays is Garrick's Call of Duty dubs, so we'll try to get some new ones with season 6 here soon.
I might I might skip ahead with the if we get good content within the time frame. So for season 6, just
Let's
to
see
get
what
your
happens.
feet wet before our impressions.
Get your feet moist.
And then
Oh, and PJ, you forgot one more thing on
What?
On the YouTubes. Go on.
huh? On the YouTube? Oh God.
Don't forget today, Sarah is streaming. So
Oh, yeah.
check it out on the YouTube. She'll be talking about the Animal Crossings, and PJ and cameraman John will be there to support her.
Hopefully this
So,
episode will be up
today
by the
at
time
2
she's
p.m.
streaming. Oh, it might already be past that. But if you listen to it on the Podbean, then yes, you would have heard it in time. Anyhow, and then
You guys
what's
go
going?
back and watch the VOD.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
It will be uploaded, and we'll try to make a nice little thumbnail. So Sarah will have her own content, and we will be posting it afterwards for everyone to enjoy wonderfully. And leave her comments too. Yeah, well, I mean, you know what I mean. It will be there, so she has her own content.
All right.
And then, John, what's going on with your Twitch?
Oh, Twitch, we're just doing some fun stuff.
so
I
twitchy.
mean, if you're listening, it's before the end of tonight, Wednesday. We're still doing the last day of the charity stream for Cancer Research Foundation. We're
sounds so
doing another hot sauce challenge with yo boys, me, PJ, and Garrett? Question mark.
We'll see if I can acquire some hot sauce in time.
And of course, our lovely mods and awesome friends, Liz and Def. So check that out. Also, next Wednesday, we're going to start a new streamy little Pirate's Life for me. Tune in.
Oh!
Every Friday, we're still doing spooky stream Friday.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
And then,
we're doing.
just to throw one more thing in there, on Tuesdays in October, make sure you guys check out the Peeps Halloween special.
Oh! Was that scary?
Did you like my creepy laugh?
Did you
yes.
like my creepy laugh? Okay.
That will be starting the first Tuesday of October.
Are we gonna
throughout
call it
October.
Spooktober? What are we calling it?
Spooky,
Peep-
Peepoween.
People that sounds like
People
a...
we
Yeah, okay.
we have
We'll talk about this.
Working title.
Okay.
Anyhow, what's up? Anything
All
else, Joey?
I think that's it. I think that's going to do it for us here on the Phat Peeps podcast. I want to thank everybody for listening. And you can catch us next week where we're going to come back with another show with brand new topics and fun discussion. So,
Call of Duty Corner.
yeah.
And we'll Call of Duty.
We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you long time.
Tim, you got that funky music?
It's so moist.
Play the funky music, Timmy.